Just where is the line that separates reality, fiction, and delusion? Can the boundaries of those lines merge? And if so, how in this world of subjective gazes do you know what you perceive is truly real? The story of Chaos Head Noah broaches these questions through the lens of Nishijou Takumi, alone in a shipping container atop a building in Shibuya, as a gaze which shouldn't be tingles his spine. Alone, mutters to himself.
僕を見るな。
A high school student mentally detached from society, his life is one dedicated to himself in isolation. Playing games, watching anime, and only going to school according to a specific schedule to minimize his attendance while still being able to graduate. It's a social life that boils down to forced interactions by either a playboy classmate or checkup visits by his little sister Nanami, only willing to talk via internet chat rooms. Enjoying his lonesome self, is prone to realistic delusions, the tone of which can be decided through delusion triggers. He may have a pleasurable experience through comforting words, an upbeat tone, or eroticism, or his negative feelings may take hold, projecting his paranoia and dark emotions. Some of these scenarios are clearly fictitious, but others can be indiscernible from reality. And as a series of unusually gruesome murders called the New Generation Madness take place within the city of Shibuya, paranoia and anxiety grows within Takumi as an anonymous user with the handle Shogun joins his chat room at random, foretelling the next murder. A murder Takumi will witness firsthand. From this point forward, his seemingly mundane life becomes warped. People on the streets of Shibuya carrying fantasy-esque swords. Not a passerby giving so much as a glance towards this abnormality. A phrase only said and thought to himself becoming known by the outside world. All the while, subsequent new-gen murders seem to come ever closer to Takumi himself. It's a set of circumstances increasingly bizarre in nature. But is all this in his head? Or is there something else at work? To deal with this fear of possibly being targeted, scours the internet for any lead that will comfort him. Enveloped in the mechanical humming from a computer's inner workings and the methodical clicks, scanning through chat logs and news articles with each passing murder. Each gruesome discovery causes the camera to swiftly pan as Takumi turns in a panic. Any venture outside his base is spent in his own delusions or fears of those potentially after him. Being engrossed in his thoughts, even if you understand how baseless some of his paranoia is, it can certainly feel contagious. Though his attitude and personality may cause a disconnect due to his inner monologue being filled with internet slang and curses for the 3D world, it's how realistically these attributes are portrayed that may invoke some worry or at least interest in the context of the story. The combination of prose, sound effects, and presentation perpetuates the unsettling and chaotic environment Takumi finds himself in. It has you on edge, constantly thinking, looking out for potential hints towards threats. Spending the following days not knowing what to do, or even who to trust, those alarms sound rapidly as many suspicious people unknown to him make contact one after another. There's Kusunoki Yua, who approaches and attempts to talk to him seemingly out of her own interest. The aloof singer Kishimoto Ayase and brusque Aoi Sena, both spouting cryptic babble about finding a sword for his salvation. A timid transfer student Orihara Kozue, and Sakihata Rimi, the girl he saw at the aforementioned murder site, yet appears before him, insisting they've been friends long before then. Though they bring distress, causing him to further stray from the life he valued, they give a sort of path, a light for him to chase. Whether that light sends his psyche into further disarray or helps him find hope depends. Nonetheless, whichever purpose they serve, from the odd manner of their introduction to their own eccentricities, are bound to conjure questions. And with each passing talk or shift in perspective, you slowly learn about each character as dialogue gives subtle glimpses of their past and potential reasons for their appearance in Shibuya. More interestingly, through these fleeting moments, you get insight of how they perceive the world. Their views are inherently different from the next, not only muddling the mind of Takumi as he fishes for information, but by seeing various points of view, influences the reader's own interpretation of these bizarre events. Some reprimand delusion via encouragement to look at reality, while others reinforce it through fiction or science, at times even intertwining real and theoretical concepts in physics and psychology to ground it all ever slightly into our own reality. Others simply serve as an escape from this madness, a vessel to relieve tension and soothe the mind temporarily. Occasionally, the story follows Detective Ban Yasuji and his partner Suwa, who hopes to bring the truth to it all. Each and every character is a major component of the mystery itself, hiding dark truths that can't be known by the outside world. Dark truths that forever change the direction of their lives, painting over the reality with a subjective tint. A major theme is how one's environment can warp one's sense of reality and perspective. It's most obvious with Takumi himself, having grown up on the internet with hardly any interaction. When talking to people, he constantly stutters and stumbles over his words with abnormal inflections, automatically assuming the worst of them. The same holds true for the others as well. Though the exact cause is ambiguous at first, the more you see of them, the more eroded the barrier to their heart becomes, unveiling the dark emotions which fester and how they have been projected onto their own individual reality. Seeing through multiple of these lenses all contributes to this theme, as each perspective uncovers new sides to this conspiracy. Contradictions and inconsistencies build. At first, attempting to piece it all into coherent thought can be a mess. Yet, that's exactly what makes it so thrilling. Every new find or occurrence breeds anxiety, tension, and paranoia, as it shakes the very foundation of the characters and mystery alike. Anytime you do get an answer, it branches out into even more questions. It's a common route where tension is high, questions are abundant, and answers rare. To the very end, where delusion begins and reality ends, remains ambiguous. It's only after the initial playthrough, going through every route and ending, where things start to come together. The hearts of the characters are explored in greater detail, all the while filling in potential dead spots of the mystery. By the end, it all comes together to deliver a truly well-realized plot that questions the objectivity of our reality, asking, what factors determine what we see as truth? How do we know the signals that form in our brain are natural? What's to say we aren't being controlled like characters in a video game? But more importantly, how, in the midst of all this, does one find themselves? The truth of who they are and what they should become. From the beginning to the very end, Chaos Head Noah is the epitome of a thrilling psychological horror story that once hooked will not let go until its conclusion. It's a story that will befuddle and toy with your mind. A story that explores the dark emotions within and how it paints over our truth. It is a brilliant first entry of the science adventure series, and one I would highly recommend once you get the chance. And with that, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. Later.